Welcome to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Quick, actionable tips to master personal finance and real estate investing. In just 5 minutes a day, we'll help you build wealth and achieve financial freedom. Tomorrow morning, D.R. Horton reports second quarter earnings. There is a number inside that report, and nobody on Wall Street will say it out loud. That tells you exactly why owning one rental in 2026 is the best quiet trade in the country. Hey, Prime investors, Martin Maxwell here. Welcome back to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. The $500 million admission. Last quarter, 73% of Horton's buyers took a mortgage rate buydown. 3 out of 4 people couldn't close unless Horton paid the lender to drop their rate, from about 6.5% down to 3.99% for the first year. The cost to Horton, $25,000 to $35,000 per buyer on a $365,000 house. Almost 10% of the sale price just to get the customer through the door. Horton closed 17,000 homes last quarter. Do the arithmetic. That's roughly $500 million in one quarter that a publicly traded builder spent bribing buyers into a 4% rate. And Horton's CFO said they will keep running the buydowns even if rates fall. It's not a cycle tactic anymore. It's the business model. Now step back and look at the rental you own. 30-year fixed, full 6.5% note. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Your tenant is paying that note every single month. In full, no buy down. Nobody is bribing them. They're paying you at 6.5% because they need a roof. And while they are at it, they are writing you a second check every month that they do not even know they are writing. Let me show you that second check because it is bigger than you think. The month 46 reveal, here's the setup. $300,000 duplex, 25% down, $75,000. $225,000 loan, 30-year fixed at 6.5%. Monthly principal and interest comes out to $1,422.15. That's the number off the calculator, and that's the line that determines whether this rental builds wealth or burns it. Month 1, your tenant sends rent. Inside the mortgage payment, it covers $203.40, slides silently into your equity account. $203. Credited to you, not to them. The tenant doesn't know. To them, it's a roof. To you, it's a second check arriving every month. Okay, I want you to hold 2 numbers in your head at the same time. The first number comes from the Federal Reserve. The 2022 Survey of Consumer Finances is the most recent data, and it says the median American renter, half of all renters in this country, has a total net worth of $10,400. Not per year, total. Life savings, retirement account, car, checking account, everything they own minus everything they owe, $10,400. Hold that. The second number comes from your amortization schedule. On this same $225,000 loan at 6.5% by month 46, 3 years and 10 months after your tenant signs the lease, the cumulative principal they have silently paid down for you crosses $10,593. That's a $193 gap. Let me say it plainly. By month 46 of the lease, your tenant has matched their entire life savings in your equity account. But that's not even the shocking part. By year 5, month 60, one lease renewal later, they've paid down $14,375. That's 38% more than the median American renter has saved in their entire working life. All of it sitting in your mortgage balance. None of it sitting in theirs. And here's the part that should land hardest. The tenant does not know. There is no amortization schedule stapled to a lease. They think they paid rent. What they actually paid was their life savings, and then some, into an asset that lives on your balance sheet, not theirs. 100 episodes ago, in episode 100, the Pros Playbook, I told you your tenant was buying you the asset. I didn't know the exact number back then. Now I do. By month 46, it's their entire net worth. By year 10, it's $34,254. By year 20, it's $99,753. Nearly half the original loan paid off in full, every dollar of it from one person's rent check. The crossover nobody sees here is where it gets weirder. The principal slice grows every single month. Month 1, $203. Month 60, $280. Month 120, $387. Month 240, $740. Same tenant, same rent check, same duplex. By month 240, that silent principal check is 3.5 times what it was in month 1. 3.64 times to be exact. Stop and look at that. This is the only return engine in real estate that accelerates automatically. Cash flow doesn't do this. Appreciation doesn't do this. Your tax benefits, those are flat until the property sells. Only amortization grows on its own. And it has a moment, a specific month when everything flips. On a 6.5% 30-year fixed, month 233 is when when the principal portion of the payment first exceeds the interest portion. That's the first time your mortgage pays more to you than it pays to the bank. Before month 233, you're mostly feeding Chase. After month 233, every payment is 85 cents on the dollar back into your pocket. Month 233 is 19 years, 5 months in. I call it the crossover. Most landlords never see it. The average hold period for a rental in this country is under 12 years, meaning the typical investor sells 7 years before their mortgage actually turns into a wealth machine. They hand the next buyer the best decade of the deal, walk away, brag about the appreciation at every investor meetup for the next 10 years. Never once figure out what they left on the table. Warning from episode 82. Every time you refinance, you reset the 30-year clock and erase every month of crossover progress you earned. I called that the amortization illusion. The amortization advantage rewards the patient landlord. It punishes the refi button. The manage play plus the 2.28 times rule. So here is why we are running this in the manage week, not the invest week. Your invisible partner only keeps working if you keep them housed. RealPage says the national renewal rate hit 52.3% last May, near a record, and still only half of landlords holding on. The other half eats turnover costs, and those costs are not small. Industry average comes in between $1,750 and $3,872 per vacancy. 14 days of make ready, 30 to 40 days from listing to new lease. On a $2,000 rental, every empty fortnight costs you $933 before you touch a paintbrush. That's real money leaking out of a unit that should be compounding. Here's the math I want you to remember. A property with 5% annual turnover over 10 years versus the same property with 20% turnover. The difference is $29,040. That's not a rounding error. That's nearly a year of cash flow straight to your bottom line. From one decision, keep the good tenant, added up $34,254 in tenant-funded equity by year 10, plus $29,040 saved on retention. That's $63,294 of wealth happening in the background while the bank account looks flat. Most landlords never count it. Most landlords also sell before year 19. Those two things are connected. And for timing, peak rent growth turnover has shifted to March for 3 years running. By today, April 20th, the landlord who kept their tenant through spring has already dodged the biggest annual risk. Who won 2026? You did 6 weeks ago. You just didn't know it yet. One last frame before the challenge. Over 30 years, your tenant pays more than $500,000 on this deal. $511,975 in total rent channeled through the mortgage. $225,000 becomes your equity. $286,975 goes to the bank in interest. And that's more than the loan itself. Every dollar your loan balance drops by, your tenant paid $2.28 in rent to move it. $1 lands in your pocket. $1.28 lands at Chase. They're paying for the house twice. Once into your equity, once to the bank, and the asset lives on your balance sheet, not theirs. That's the trade. Nothing dishonest about it. It's just the math of fixed rate debt held by the person who owns the deed. That is the amortization advantage, the only return engine in real estate that accelerates automatically, silently funded by the tenant, quietly protected by the landlord who knows how to renew a lease. Your challenge today: email your best tenant this week. Offer a 2026 renewal with a modest bump, $25 to $50 a month. Tell them you appreciate them. Mean it. Then, and this is the then what, open a free amortization calculator at bankrate.com and plug in your loan. Scroll to month 233. Write down the date. That is the day your mortgage flips from feeding the bank to feeding you. Stick it on your fridge. Is that date 4 years away, 12, 19? That's the question that tells you whether you should be selling right now or buying your second rental. If that number surprises you, send it to the friend in your mastermind who keeps saying their duplex doesn't cash flow enough. They are missing the $63,000 hiding in their own deal. You are not. Next episode, Thursday, we go from protecting the tenant you already have to choosing the right one at the front door. Episode 125, the tenant screening playbook, the 5-layer shield that keeps bad tenants out before they can cost you the $29,040. I'm Martin Maxwell. Keep learning, stay strategic, and keep building one step at a time.